Imagine a scent so intoxicating it overrides your instinct to survive. You follow it, landing on a velvet red stage that smells like pure sugar. It's heaven. But then the floor twitches. Snap! In less than a tenth of a second, the sky vanishes. You aren't just trapped in the dark. You are locked inside a living stomach that is already calculating how to dissolve your bones. This isn't a sci-fi horror movie. This is the brutal, slow-motion nightmare of being eaten alive by a carnivorous plant. The perfect illusion. To understand the sheer terror of this execution, you first have to understand the lie. If you are a foraging fly, an ant, or a beetle, the world is full of threats. Spiders, birds, frogs. Predators usually look like predators. They move, they hunt. But the Venus flytrap? It does the exact opposite. It waits. It masquerades as a safe haven. Its leaves splay wide open, revealing an inner lining that glows with a fluorescent, bloody red hue under ultraviolet light, a color that screams high-calorie feast to insects. The margins of these leaves are coated in a sweet, shimmering nectar. As you land on it, the surface feels waxy and smooth. It's a five-star dining experience. You begin to feed, utterly mesmerized by the sugar rush, completely oblivious to the six tiny, microscopic hairs jutting out of the red floor around you. These aren't just hairs, they are biological tripwires. The biological trigger. You brush against one of them. It flexes slightly. Nothing happens. The plant is a master of energy conservation. It knows that a raindrop, a falling twig, or a gust of wind could trigger a false alarm, wasting precious energy. So it waits for confirmation. The moment you touch that first hair, the plant starts a silent, internal countdown. A localized electrical charge, an action potential, surges through the leaf's tissue, but it's not enough to spring the trap. You are safe for now, but you take another step. You want more nectar. 18 seconds pass and your leg grazes a second hair. The snap. Bam! The transformation is so violent and sudden it defies the laws of botany. In exactly 1/10 of a second, faster than the blink of a human eye, the geometry of the leaves violently snaps from convex to concave. Two massive, rigid walls of green tissue slam together around you. The long, jagged spikes on the edges interlock flawlessly like the iron bars of a prison cell slamming shut. The light is instantly choked out. The air suddenly feels thick. You are no longer a guest. You are dinner. The claustrophobic panic. This is where the true psychological horror begins. Your immediate instinct is to fight. You thrash wildly in the pitch-black void. You buzz your wings, kick your legs, and ram your head against the damp walls, desperately looking for a gap in the interlocking teeth. But this is the plant's most sinister design. Your panic is the very mechanism that seals your fate. Every time you struggle, every time your frantic body hits the inner walls and grazes those trigger hairs again, you are sending chemical messages, jasminate signals, deep into the plant's nervous system. You are literally telling the plant, I am alive, I am meaty, and I am worth digesting. If you had just stayed perfectly still, the trap might have slowly reopened after a day or two, mistaking you for a piece of dead debris. But by fighting, you force the trap to transition from the capture phase to the sealing phase. The edges of the leaves press tighter and tighter together. The microscopic gaps between the teeth are sealed shut. The trap becomes entirely airtight, a hermetic seal. The oxygen levels begin to plummet. The humidity skyrockets to a suffocating 100%. The digestion. And then you feel it. The floor beneath you begins to weep. It's a clear, highly acidic fluid oozing from special glands lining the walls of your green tomb. It pools around your legs and slowly rises. This isn't water. It is a devastatingly potent cocktail of hydrochloric acid and digestive enzymes. Proteases to break down your muscles, nucleuses to shred your DNA, and catenases specifically designed to melt your tough outer shell. At a pH of 2.0, the acid begins its work. You don't die instantly. First, you feel the soft, vulnerable joints between your legs, and abdomen begin to burn and soften. The acid slowly dissolves the glue holding your exoskeleton together. Your internal fluids, your hemolymph, begin to leak out, mixing with the plant's digestive juices into a nutrient-rich soup. You are paralyzed, suffocating in an airtight room, feeling your body being slowly disassembled molecule by molecule while you are still semi-conscious. This agonizing liquefaction will continue for 5 to 12 days. When the trap finally reopens, there will be nothing left of you but a hollowed-out, translucent husk blowing away in the wind. But as horrifying as the Venus Flytrap is, its execution is relatively straightforward. What if I told you there are plants that don't crush you, but force you to slowly drown yourself in a graveyard of 1,000 other corpses? The slippery abyss, the pitcher plant. If the Venus flytrap is a sudden, violent prison cell, the pitcher plant is an inescapable well of despair. From the outside, it looks like an elegant, elongated vase, often painted with intricate blood-red veins. It even provides a convenient landing pad, the peristome, a beautifully curved, ribbed lip at the opening of the pitcher. It secretes a sugary nectar that smells divine, but it hides a dirty secret. The nectar is heavily laced with narcotic alkaloids. As you land on the rim and begin to drink, the drug quickly takes effect. You become lethargic. Your footing gets clumsy, and then you slip. You tumble down a perfectly smooth vertical chute. The inner walls are coated with microscopic, flaky wax crystals. As your tiny claws try to grip the surface to stop your fall, the wax literally shears off under your weight, sending you plummeting further down into the darkness. You splash into a pool of liquid at the bottom. You aren't crushed. You aren't trapped in a cage. You are just swimming. But this is no ordinary water. It is a viscoelastic fluid, a thick, slimy, paralyzing soup of rainwater, digestive enzymes, and bacteria. The physics of this fluid are terrifying. If you move slowly, it behaves like water. But the moment you panic and violently thrash your legs to stay afloat, the fluid thickens, grabbing you like invisible quicksand. You look up. The opening of the pitcher is just inches away, shining like a halo of hope. But the walls are lined with microscopic downward-pointing hairs. It is a one-way street. In the pitcher plant, you don't die from acid right away. You die from exhaustion. The heavy, slimy water coats your body, clogging your spiracles, the tiny tubes you use to breathe. As you slowly suffocate and drown, you sink into a dark, rotting graveyard of hollowed-out exoskeletons from victims who came before you. Only then do the enzymes and bacteria begin to silently strip the nutrients from your corpse. The shimmering death, the Sundew. But perhaps you avoid the jaws and the pitchers. You fly to a sunny bog and spot something truly magical. The Sundew. It looks like an alien jewel. Its leaves are covered in hundreds of delicate crimson tentacles, each tipped with a spherical drop of what looks like pure, glistening morning dew catching the sunlight. It's breathtakingly beautiful. You land softly. Instantly, the illusion shatters. That dew is actually a thick biological superglue called mucilage. The moment your legs touch it, you are cemented in place. The sundew doesn't snap. It creeps. Panic sets in. You pull violently, but the mucilage just stretches like warm taffy, refusing to snap. Your frantic vibrations send an electrical signal through the plant's nervous system. Slowly, agonizingly, the surrounding tentacles begin to bend toward you. It takes minutes, sometimes hours. One by one, the sticky, club-like tentacles curl over your wings, your legs, your head. It is a creeping, inescapable embrace. The glue smothers your breathing pores completely. Long before the acid is secreted to melt your insides, you die of asphyxiation, wrapped in a shimmering, deadly hug. The human nightmare. Which brings us to the ultimate horrifying question. What if these botanical monsters were scaled up? What if you, a human being, stumbled into a pitcher plant the size of a water tower? And imagine falling over the waxy lip and plunging into a giant, fleshy vat. The liquid inside is deep enough that your feet can't touch the bottom. Would your thick human skin protect you? The terrifying answer is not for long. Human stomach acid sits at a pH of about 1.5. The digestive fluid of some pitcher plants can drop to a highly acidic pH of 2.0. If you were trapped in that giant pool, treading water in pitch darkness, unable to climb the waxy, frictionless walls, it would feel like swimming in a vat of hot vinegar. Within hours, the outer layer of your epidermis would begin to blister and peel away, exposing the raw nerve endings beneath to the burning acid. Every frantic movement would be excruciating. You would tread water, screaming for help that would never come until your muscles completely gave out from exhaustion. Once you sink beneath the surface, the real horror begins. Without the protective barrier of your skin, the acid and enzymes invade your bloodstream. The soft tissues of your eyes and lungs would dissolve first. The plant's proteases would systematically sever the peptide bonds holding your muscle fibers together. You wouldn't just be eaten, you would slowly unravel. Over several weeks, your body would turn into a nutrient slurry, absorbed directly into the plant's vascular system to grow a new, even larger trap. You would be reduced to nothing more than a skeleton and a few indigestible scraps of hair and clothing, resting forever at the bottom of a giant green stomach. The green world is silent, but it is far from peaceful. Carnivorous plants are nature's chilling reminder that beauty is often a disguise for brutality, and that sometimes the most terrifying predators on Earth don't have teeth, claws, or a heartbeat. They just have patience. If you survived this journey into the belly of the beast, hit that subscribe button to join us for more dark dives into the terrifying science of our world. And let me know in the comments, which of these three plants would be the absolute worst way to go